All right. So I need your name and permission to use the interview for Lead the World.
My name is Dawuni, and permission to use the interview for Lead
The World.
the World.
Excellent. What role does music play as a bridge between cultures to create understanding?
What role does music play as a bridge to create understanding? Well, music is a language that you can find in all cultures. Every culture has some level of music that is part of the fabric of that society. So it is something that is beyond words. And so in a time when we're trying to really find, commonalities and create bridges of engagement and understanding among people, I feel that music provides one of the best opportunities, because through music and rhythm, you can really be able to access, people's attention much more easily, and also access a place that is really common among everybody without language. Because, language one way or the other also has limitation, because language usually has defined certain identities, certain cultures, and in doing so too, it takes a longer time in terms of really using language to bring people together. But once you can sing, let's say even in a concert setting, when you have everybody out there moving to the same beat, the same groove, that's oneness right now. That's a common understanding. So music, I feel that is pretty much one of the most ultimate languages. It is higher than language in terms of bringing people together, and also serving as a tool for communication.
Give me a personal example of how music connects people. That's something that you've witnessed in your life, maybe at one of your concerts or anywhere.
Well, to give a personal example as to how music connects people is also in terms of what I do as a person. I am an ambassador with the United Nations Foundation, and I have had the opportunity of really traveling to places like Rwanda, where the country has gone through went through an era of genocide, and 20 years now, people are still grappling with the consequences and the leftovers of that tragedy. And as a musician, what happens is that when I traveled over there, it was a very, there was really a pattern. When people heard that I was a musician and somebody who sang, it really opened a lot of doors in terms of people feeling comfortable enough to be able to talk to me, because they felt that as a musician, I always held a place of non-judgment, and also I had I also was able to listen to people very carefully, and in doing so too be able to understand the different sides of each story, and bring it all together. So there is a certain trust issue that comes when you are a musician, because people know that you always are on the side of the people and the side of the truth. And I've seen that at work in terms of my engagement with people in Rwanda, trying to use my platform as a means for nation building and also peace building.
They have an hour showcasing different roles before it. They've got an hour.
Do you believe that music has the power to elevate consciousness, and how do you see that being used as a tool to elevate consciousness in the third world and in Africa?
Well, if I see whether music is a tool to elevate consciousness, I believe it is the tool to elevate consciousness. Music has the ability to let people, take a pause and recognize what is going on, and at the same time too, through lyrics and also creating bridges and engaging people from different backgrounds, it provides opportunity for us to aspire to something higher than ourselves. So I think that music can be able to articulate where all of us as part of the human family are heading to and going to, and in doing so I feel that it is probably our primary tool to for global harmony and also bringing nations together, even higher than what is going on in the United Nations. I believe that musicians can really be able to complement all the diplomatic initiatives that are going on in places like the United Nations, and ultimately be able to bring people together. Because when you sing together, you think together. And for elevation of consciousness, it requires all of us having a uniformed focus as to what our objectives are. And I think music is the medium by which we can be able to attain that. So it is that tool.
Do you think that artists have a responsibility to be leaders in their communities?
Do I think artists have a responsibility to be leaders in their community? Well, once you're an artist and you have an audience, pretty much you are a leader. Whatever you say impacts people. Whatever you say influences people. So I think that when your words and your deeds and your actions are impacting people, you have to also know that that comes with a certain level of responsibility, because whatever you say has more impact beyond the sphere from which you uttered it. So you have to be very careful as to what you put out there. And I believe that's why I believe in positive music, because I believe that we need to uphold and uplift positivity around the world, and we need to bring light and also try to show people the higher ground. And so my music tries in as much as possible to let people see that side, because I believe that I am responsible for whatever I put out there. And for me, I want to put out goodness, unity, light, and then also empowerment. So that is my responsibility, and I believe that every artist, you are what you put out there.
How do you use your own music to change the world around you?
How do I use my own music to change the world around me? Well, through every concert, and then beyond the concert, through my deeds, my everyday, my actions. I, apart from talking about empowerment, I also get on the ground to be involved in initiatives that I talk about in my music. I've been involved in terms of my native Ghana. I've been involved in initiatives that involve empowerment of women, water, clean water issues, HIV awareness. I'm also very involved in Cook Stove Initiative with the UN Foundation, which deals with household air pollution, and anything that I feel that really, in the long run, helps better the quality of life of people. It's something that I get involved in, because that is what I talk about in my music. So I feel that it's all connected. The music, you're there to empower other people to become agents of change, but at the same time, through your actions and your deeds too, if you do that, then your words resonate with much more power, because they're not coming from a place of just rhetoric, but they come in and being inspired by action on the ground. I'm a strong believer in that.
Given the state of the world today, what role does or should the international artists community play in creating peace and healing, in your opinion?
You mean create peace and what did you? Can you rephrase the question again?
What role do you feel that the artist community should play, or do they play already, in creating peace and healing with what's going on in the world?
Okay, yes, with what's going on in the world in terms of the role of artists to create peace and healing, I believe that artists, basically, when we talk about artists, because there are a lot of artists who represent so many different things, so I believe that artists whose intention and objective is to create peace and healing need to be elevated more, and whether they are elevated, they also need to be more assertive, because sometimes, the limelight must not come to you. You have to go to the light, So I believe that those artists need to assert more and need to also need to understand what power they have in terms of being able to impact change around the world and also be instruments for what's called catalyzing this change. So I think that they have a very important role, very, very major role, because the soundtrack of our times has to be a soundtrack that also inspires us to bring major changes. And we are the architects of this soundtrack. So we have to know that it is that time, we are on the cusp of that time in history to be those agents of bringing change and positivity and healing in the world. And it is a role that comes with a lot of responsibility, but I believe that, that is what the art is about. Art is a tool. It is that sword, positive sword that you can use to really carve and then also create paths, for people to walk through towards ultimately healing and unity and peace.
Do you think that music can be used to create physical change in communities rather than just ideological change? If you can give me an example of somehow you or other artists that you know that have created tangible change for people in a community.
Oh, I believe that music plays both ways. First of all, there's the ideological part. You inspire people, and then when you inspire people, because change has to come from within. Once you can have the change from within and then in your mind, then it will also, also kind of reflect in your actions, And in terms of tangible ones, I'm a living testament to that, I've been involved in Ghana. I was involved in the whole guinea worm eradication initiative that happened in Ghana, because guinea worm is like this disease that comes from people from drinking water, and the disease gets into your body, and then it's a certain worm. It lives in your body and it pops up in your part of your body, and then it totally kind of decimates people's ability to work, make a life for themselves, and usually very, very poor neighborhoods where this happens. So there was a lot of initiatives going on in my country, from the Carter Center to the government of Ghana and all that. And I got involved in as an artist and worked with a lot of the organizations that were on the ground, and created songs and campaigns, and pretty much brought a lot of awareness. And in the long run, we've been able to eradicate guinea worm from Ghana. So that's even one tangible example of how art can be leveraged to create tangible change. And then beyond that too, my involvement in the peace building process in Rwanda, it's also using music and leveraging it for tangible impact in people's lives. And then also the Cook Stove Initiative, also as an artist, I believe that what it does is that it can be a bridge between private, public initiatives, kind of take those partnerships and really be able to articulate it in a way that can be widely understood, and then also accepted and then acted upon by the masses.